Now rocking with Tough Tiger Talk. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate the family members for joining us for this episode of Tough Tiger Talk. This will be a quick one. We talk about a few things, man. And this episode is called Cheat Like Crazy. And this is reacting to Paul Finebaum. You know, he always dropping some good stuff for us to react to. Talking about the ruling that happened with LSU dealing with Les Miles. So before we play his interview, let me get you guys to please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and feel free to share Tough Tiger Talk on your social media feed with other diehard Tiger family members across the Tiger world. And before we even get into it, let me give a special shout out to the Tiger baseball team for the fantastic season that they had, man. It was a terrific season. This was a team of destiny. They went up there and turned Omaha into Gomaha, and we handled the business there. So shout out to the Tiger baseball team following behind our terrific women, winning titles. And now it's up to the guys to take it on the football team. There's a lot of championship energy going on in Baton Rouge. And let me tell you something, the women got it. The baseball men got it. It's time for the football guy, the team, to kind of handle that business as well. So anyway, let's get ready to play some of this interview right here, or this interview from Finebaum, and we reacting to what he said about NCAA ruling on LSU is an invitation for schools to cheat like crazy. Let's hear from Finebaum.
LSU received sanctions from the NCAA last week. Now, the vacated wins, Paul, I think we all agree, that's a waste of time. It has nothing to do with anything. It doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things. Maybe for Les Miles in the College Football Hall of Fame it will, but what should fans take away from what we heard and learned about LSU, their fate with the NCAA? Is this any sort of a real problem moving forward for LSU in football or basketball?
I don't think LSU got a scratch last week. And the message is clear: cheat like crazy and don't stop until you win. And I never thought I would say that, but it's the truth. It simply doesn't matter anymore. And what's interesting, and people get confused, the Jeremy Pruitt thing, which I think will be a story eventually here in Alabama, and going back to Les Miles and Will Wade, these all happened before 2 years ago when NIL went into effect. So what it means is you could cheat, you could break the rules, you could stick your tongue in the face of authority back then and get away with it today. Can you imagine what you can do now? And I know people get confused. They think, well, everybody's cheating, it's legal. It's not legal. It's just that nobody is doing anything about it. It's easier to do than it used to be. You can camouflage it. But I frankly, and I don't like saying this because I was one who always believed in the rules and who spent my early part of my career looking into transgressions and thinking those who did it should be kicked out of the industry. It just simply doesn't matter anymore. The NCAA is not, I mean, to call the NCAA a complete and utter joke is an insult to organizations that are borderline jokes. I mean, it's a farce. They have no authority whatsoever. And I don't really mean to encourage people to cheat. You don't have to encourage them. They're going to, but there are simply no rules anymore. And I am long past getting outraged and upset that someone like Will Wade gets away with whatever he got away with, or someone else, because if it doesn't matter to the people who govern the sport, and that, by the way, that includes everyone who sits in on these meetings and on these management councils, then it's certainly not going to bother me anymore.
All right, that was Paul Finebaum opinion known. Now, first of all, LSU did what they did. They broke the rules, and what LSU did do was they self-imposed. They disciplined themselves, and that was a part of the ruling. So it's not about cheat like crazy. It's the fact that LSU didn't get away with anything. They imposed sanctions and punishment upon themselves, and that lessened the blow of what the NCAA was going to do to them. It was a smart maneuver, and they made mention of that in the ruling. So it's not I don't know if I agree with him in terms of them cheating like crazy. I think he's kind of being a little extra with his commentary right there. But Will Wade got a 10-game suspension. He's not connected with us anymore. And he had a 2-year show clause for his involvement in the program's recruiting violations. He got caught several times. He was cited 6 out of the 8 total level 1 violations handed down by the NCAA. He coaches at McNeese State, so he does a 10-game block that he has to get knocked off. So the school's football program was forced to vacate all 37 wins from the team. The guy says, "Hey, that don't really matter. That's that's something as well." But the reality is, what more could you do to LSU in terms of penalizing them for today? That's Les Miles. That was years ago. That was prior to the Ed Ogeron administration. So what they did from a historical standpoint is they just erased him out of the record books. They took all of the wins that he had during that period of time. That coach violated for that period of time. They kept that for that period of time. They didn't impose those sanctions on the team today. The LSU Tigers did a good job of doing what they were supposed to do to punish themselves. The NCAA said you did enough. So, Paul Finebaum is entitled to his opinion just like everybody else. And speaking of being entitled to opinion, what do you guys think about this? Please feel free to chime in the comment section. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be reading some very, very interesting commentary about the family members. But please feel free to drop your comments in the comment section below and let me know how you guys feel about Paul Finebaum saying that the NCAA ruling on LSU is an invitation for schools to cheat like crazy. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. This is Big Q chiming in on with this episode of Tough Tiger Talk. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and feel free to share the show with other diehard Tiger members across the Tigers hemisphere. I'm going to holler at you on the flip side of this one. Go Tigers.